All the problems have been there before, so access to housing, recruitment and retention challenges, the cost of running services with funding which is restricted and such. And COVID made those things seem worse, and we've come out worse than we were before.
We have just reported on some survey work which took place in the the autumn winter of 21-22, and at that point a quarter of the general public in Northern Ireland said they were struggling with really basic things like being able to pay an unexpected bill of £500 or having to turn down their heating even though it was cold because they couldn't afford to pay the bills. Now that's even before the current cost of living crisis, so I think that gives us some indication of what it's like for people at the moment.
We're working with increased costs in gas and electric as providers, running temporary accommodation, emergency accommodation. We're in a situation where people are staying longer than they have, and that continues to increase.
There's ways and means that we can help clients, so we would make sure that they're getting all that they're entitled to. You know, if they're not receiving the benefits that they should be on, if they have housing issues, employment issues, we can help them and support them through that there. But also if they're in debt or they're finding difficulties in terms of sort of managing with the money that they have, we can help them through the whole debt process, just to make it a bit easier for them. We can also then help them around sort of financial capabilities, around budgeting, and then just really how to make the most of the money that they do have.
We know that at the same time as we've got this cost of living crisis and the crisis around energy costs and food costs, we also have increasing rents, particularly in the private sector, and that's creating a real squeeze for people who are having to add to their housing benefit just to keep a roof over their heads.
We need to think creatively about how we do stuff, how we work together, getting support from local community groups, voluntary groups we're relying on as charities.
The Assembly can act to do something about housing benefit. These are devolved responsibilities, so they could increase the level of housing benefit. In the longer term, I think there's a broader conversation about rent caps, rent restraint, that kind of thing. There's also mitigations around the social security system. We know that can happen. There's been mitigations packages before, and that could be something that can be done relatively quickly and could be quite targeted at the households that need it most.
Homelessness is not just a housing issue, and we know that, those of us who work in the sector. So health and justice need to find ways to resource homelessness services and enable our staff to provide the support that people need who access services.
The most important thing is just to make sure people have enough money in their pockets in order to feed themselves, in order to heat themselves.
So for me, more money, absolutely, but a different use of the money that we currently spend. So, and perhaps even looking at what we spend on homelessness across prisons, hospitals, all of that, and reallocating the money in a different way so we can ultimately end homelessness in Northern Ireland would be a significant ask.